This is Carolina Haints. Carolina Haints presents Folk, a show about our stories. I'm your host, Dan Sellers. It's a quiet winter night in Huntersville, North Carolina. The road to Hopewell Presbyterian Church winds through fields and old timber, silent now except for the hum of the highway in the distance. But on the anniversary of a battle long forgotten by most, some folks say they see something strange along Beatty's Ford Road. Something moving fast in the graveyard next to the walls of stone. Something galloping in the mist, along with the faint sound of hooves. It's a shadowy rider carrying the memory of a revolution. His name was General William Lee Davidson, the Revolutionary War hero who was killed at Cowan's Ford on February 1st, 1781. While leading a desperate stand against British troops. Not to defeat them, mind you, but merely to slow them down in crossing the Catawba River. It was one of the last clashes before Cornwallis marched north toward Guilford Courthouse. Davidson was shot dead, his body lying in the riverbank for hours. The British used him as bait to lure more patriots into their trap. It wasn't until the cover of darkness that his men were able to sneak up and carry his body away. He was silently carried by his men to the nearby Hopewell Presbyterian Church, where his wife awaited to take part in a makeshift funeral for the general. Davidson was one of just a handful of casualties at the Battle of Cowan's Ford, a relatively small but important skirmish. That should have been the end of the story, but in the Carolinas, death is never the end of a good story. For over 2 centuries, people in and around Huntersville have spoken of seeing General Davidson's ghost. Some claim he still rides near Cowan's Ford, searching for his fallen troops. Others say his spirit lingers near his grave at Hopewell, the same spot where local patriots once swore vengeance for his death. They say that every year, near the date of his fall, the air along Beatty's Ford Road grows cold, and a lone rider appears from the fog. Some have seen the magnificent-looking soldier on his giant steed galloping back and forth through the weathered headstones of the old graveyard. Others have seen him simply perched quietly on his horse, watching and waiting like a sentry, before fading into the night. Today, most folks know Davidson's name from Davidson County, or the nearby college and town that bears his name, founded not far from where he died. His monument once stood at Cowan's Ford before the area was flooded to form Lake Norman, submerging the old battlefield beneath the water. Maybe that's why the general can't rest. His body lies in Huntersville, but the place where he gave his life is lost beneath the lake. So if you find yourself driving near Hopewell Church one foggy February evening, slow down when you see that shimmer on the roadside. You might just be passing by a patriot whose soul never quite left the battlefield. This episode was brought to you by Regavic Productions and Carolina Haints Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to preserving and promoting folklore storytelling throughout the Carolinas. You can find everything we're up to, including the Carolina Haints book, podcast episodes, and speaking engagements at carolinahaints.com. We'll be back next week with a new episode. Tune in then to keep the tradition of oral storytelling alive.